guys, well, welcome back to the show here, and I'm Peter van der Spuy, and I've got a guest here today, Megan Werner, and we're going to talk a little bit about aviation today. And as you know, on this program, we talk about epic shit, and you've had some unbelievable experiences, and I can kind of like, you know, I sort of put myself in your place, and you know I've experienced a bunch of stuff over my few years of flying, and but when I heard your story, I just thought, holy shit, I've got to get you on here because I mean this story needs to be told and it needs to be heard by by the public, and I think it'll make very, very interesting talk. So, Megan, who is Megan Werner, and can you just tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we can dig into some epic shit.
Some epic shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just your normal person. Well, I wouldn't say normal. I'd say a bit crazy, cooked in the head, because you need to be to do the stuff that I did. But at the end of the day, I would say my mission is to uplift people, to inspire them, and just to show them through my actions that if you can dream it, if you can think about it, with hard enough work, with enough effort, you can make anything happen. Now, fortunately, this journey began quite early for me. And I started at 13, where I wrote my own book.
Hold on a second. So, Megan
is love and light.
So
and that's what the name means, is light. So
Megan, does that mean light?
Yes.
In what language?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was told by my mom, Megan means light. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay. So at age 13, you decide to write a book.
Yes.
Based on what?
So the book is called It's Up to Me, 7 Ways to Make a Difference. So as a child, I went through a lot of bullying at school, normal stuff that happens. And that really made me feel that, in a way, depressed. Let's cut the story short. I was depressed. So my parents, we went to a Tony Robbins conference. And
ooh, what a guy.
And at 12 years old.
He's an incredible guy.
At 12 years old, I did a fire walk, which was at this Tony Robbins event. And something in my mind just completely changed. I was like, wow, if you can barefoot walk over fire without burning, what else are you capable of? So when I came back, it really changed my life. I started implementing a few things, and that's when I decided to write a book. So I wrote the book. I then asked Robert Kiyosaki, who is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to write the foreword of my book, and he said yes. So he wrote the foreword, and I started doing motivational speaking with him on stage and different places.
What, at age 13, you were doing motivational talking with him on stage?
Pretty much, yes.
And the book, you completed the book?
Yes. No, so I published the book, completed it. So a little while later, the book got translated into Russian. Now, this was before all the Russian drama. And I then did a 3-week speaking tour right across Russia, the whole Russia, where we would do speaking at schools and
with
radio,
who?
TV,
With
myself.
you went?
My parents came with me, and then I had a manager who was also the translator. So,
wow.
yeah.
But I mean, how did you get a Russian person to say, come over here and I'll tour around Russia with you?
So basically it was one of my dad's friends who knew this Russian publisher, and then told them about my book, and they said, okay, perfect. They want to do the translation and then have me speak in Russia.
So just say the title of the book again.
It's Up to Me.
It's
and
Up to Me.
Subtitle is 7 Ways to Make a Difference. And it's
Author Megan Werner.
Yeah. So the
is that book still available in stores?
It's not in stores. I sell it
online
myself. Yeah.
type of thing.
So this one was self-published.
So how do they get this book? How do the listeners get hold of this book?
I think the easiest thing would be to send me a DM on Instagram. My socials is Megan the Pilot, and then we sell the books there, because we've since taken it off like Amazon and all the other places where you could buy it.
So guys,
myself.
Megan the pilot, follow her on Instagram, and you can order the book through by DMing Hugh directly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll organize that. Anyway, so after that, the Kazakhstan government got me in because they had a really high teen suicide rate. And yeah, I did speaking at their schools, helped them. I also was speaking in Russia, Kazakhstan, we've got America, Canada. So after all of this, I was 15 years old and I decided, okay, now this is cool, but I want to do something bigger. And for my 15th birthday, my dad was a pilot, and he then took me for my first flight.
What is your dad's name?
Jy Droom.
Jy Werner.
Yes. So he took me for my first flight in a Cessna 172.
Age 15.
At age 15.
Yeah.
And the minute I took control, the aviation bug bits, and you know it's a very expensive,
Yeah.
expensive
Been there,
flight.
done it.
So I was supposed to be studying for biology or something, and I was like, how can I use aviation and my passion for inspiring people to do this massive upliftment thing? And I wanted to do it in Africa because Africa is my continent, and I just love African people. So I decided, you know what, let's fly a plane across Africa. And while we do that, we do also motivational speaking and all this stuff. And I go to my dad, I said to him, Dad, let's do this. Let's fly across Africa. And he's like, yeah, Meg, it's cool, but you need to do something bigger. You need to think bigger. And I was very disappointed with this answer that I got from my dad because I thought this was a wild idea. Go back up to study, and I grab my life support, and I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I come across an ad where there is kit-built aircraft, the Sling aircraft. So that got me thinking, okay, what about if we use teenagers to build a plane, and then we fly that plane across Africa? So I ran back to my dad, said, how about this? We build a plane, and then we fly it across Africa. And he's like, yes, that's much better. So I then started with my pilot's license. I went solo at 16 with less than 10 hours. Continued.
Hang on a sec. Normally you need 15 hours to go solo.
Check again.
I think that's what you need, but you obviously had, you were flying around with your dad
and
before
then yes. Then also the regulations were a bit, they kept changing and stuff. So whether it was 15 for solo, 16 or whatever.
Basically, your instructor sends you when he thinks you're competent enough to go solo.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So I get my pilot's license. We then get the group of the 20 teenagers, and that was a massive selection process. So we put it out online. It was all over radio, TV, and a lot of people thought, one, it's a scam, and two, I cannot tell you the amount of people that told me it's impossible, you won't get it done, and you will probably die. So I decided with that information, I'm going to make a point of it, and I'm going to do it. So get the 20 teenagers through a big selection process. And
but what was the criteria?
So initially, they had to send in a 1-minute video motivating why they want to be part of it. We got almost 2,000 applications, went through all of that, and then selected 400 people to then come to a team building day where we then selected 40 people. From them, they went for interviews, and that's how we got to the top 20 teenagers. Now, it was a really diverse group from different backgrounds. We had different cultures, different religions, just a big mix from 13 years old to 19 years old, all these teens together working towards this mission. So we got the plane built, the teenagers built the airframe, and engineers obviously had to do the avionics and the engine.
So you don't literally build the aircraft from scratch. You get the components. It's like a kit plane.
It's a kit plane.
Kit plane, and then you got to put it together.
In my head, I thought, okay, you're going to get a wing and a wing, a fuselage, just put it together, and there you go. No.
Yeah, a lot
When
more
we
parts. Eh?
when we opened these boxes, there are thick manuals, and there are some parts smaller than your hand. So it was quite the thing to figure out. And luckily we had AMEs supervising us. So it's not like it's just these 20 teenagers trying to make a bolt fly type of thing.
Yeah,
So
you have to have some form of quality control and qualified people overseeing the build.
and that's what I love about aviation is the safety standard that is so high. And these engineers didn't just let us do our thing. If it wasn't done right, you need to do it
over.
again.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So how long did that take?
teens built the plane in 10 days, the airframe in 10 days. And then we had to wait a while. It was very difficult gathering finances for this whole project. So we
I
had
was
to
going to
get
ask you about that. I
sponsors.
mean, what sort of a cost was this? What did it cost? What did it cost to buy the plane? The whole kit?
I think the kit was around 3.6 million, or that it costs.
Holy moly.
3.6 million rand.
And where is that sling aircraft made, all those components?
At the Sling factory. So
In
they've got
South Africa?
in South Africa. It's a South African designed aircraft. It was designed by Mike Blythe, phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
And then James Pittman is one of the owners of Sling, and he runs the show. So they've got a factory in south of Joburg at a small airfield called Tedderfield, where they have the factories, and it's a massive operation. It's really cool to see.
Fascinating.
So
Fascinating.
anyway, we had to wait a while. The next year, we decided to then do the Cape-to-Cairo project. I was in matric, and I planned on doing this during winter school. So when all the matrics need to actually be in school, which is not official, I decided I'm going to fly across Africa. So we get set and start making our way up to Cairo. And on our way, we would stop at schools, do motivational speaking there. We got the opportunity to take people flying that have never flown before. So not only was it making awareness for aviation, but also inspirational.
So, I mean, the permissions to fly across Africa is just something to behold.
Yes.
So who did all that? Who did all that flight planning?
We were very fortunate that ExecuJet was our main sponsor. So they had a whole flight crew that was able to manage and organize all the overflight clearances, the landing permission, all of those things.
Okay, because that's very complicated.
Yes. This whole project was one massive team working together. I don't know if there's a person that will be able to do it alone.
No,
we had
no
a
ways you can do it.
phenomenal team and utilized everyone's strength to make this possible.
Damn, I mean, I can just imagine these 20. Was it all girls or was it a mixture of guys and girls? Yeah.
Mix of guys and girls.
So now you get all your permissions, you're here on and now you started. What was the time limit that was given to you?
So we had planned a few days in every country, maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
But in aviation, things never
go wrong. Things go wrong.
Never
You
go
stay
according
longer.
to plan.
Yeah.
So we actually started the project without having all the flight clearances because it was taking so long. So we eventually got to Tanzania, where we then got the news that Kenya denied our overflight clearances because they said their terrain is too high. So we then had to make a plan to get around Kenya. Sudan was having a civil war at that stage, so that made things quite tricky. When we got to Addis, there wasn't the right kind of fuel. They modified all their smaller aircraft to be able to use Jet A1 instead of avgas. So the Sling has got the Rotex 914 engine in it, and what's nice about that is you can use MoGas or avgas. So your normal 95 or aviation fuel. So we get to Addis, no fuel. I had to sort that out.
So
try
what
and
did
fly
you
over
use then?
Sudan.
What did you use when you say you had to sort it out?
Luckily, the project had a lot of attention around it, and the Minister of Science and Technology welcomed us in Addis. So we had 3 days in Addis, and we spent most of it trying to find fuel because their cars work on biofuel, so that we can't use that as MOGAS. So, yes, the minister managed to organize these barrels full of
Okay.
avgas, mogas, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided to go.
Okay.
But yeah, overall we were in quite a few sticky situations where we had to make life or death decisions. Thank you. But we managed to make it to Cairo. It was only the one aircraft, the teen-built one, that managed to make it to Cairo.
So you had your plane and then you had a backup plane.
Yes. So we had 2 aircraft flying. There was the teen-built aircraft that was built and flown by teenagers. I was 17 at the stage when I started the project. And then the support aircraft. So the support aircraft was Sling's prototype. The registration was Tango Alpha Foxtrot, and they flew it around the world twice.
Wow,
So,
before this trip, yeah?
yes, so that was the support aircraft that was used, and then my dad was the pilot.
Of the support
And
aircraft.
Yes, he flew for 35 years and had a lot of experience flying in Africa with charter, because flying in Africa is a whole different ballgame. So they were there to support us.
So
with
when
the
you say
journey.
a support aircraft, one pilot?
We had
How many people in that sling?
the 2 directors. So the Sling is a 4-seater aircraft.
Okay.
A lot of the times we had to put extra fuel in the back. Or we were also rotating our crew with the other pilots that were flying.
Okay. So,
So-
but now hang on a second. So you 2 aeroplanes, 4 seats maximum. So that's 8 people.
Yeah.
And you said you were 20 people.
No, so the team that built the aircraft were the 20 teenagers.
Okay.
So that's
So out
not
of
the
the
same
20
team that then flew the plane. We did a different selection process for the pilots, where they also, once again, had to go through a selection process where we then ended up with 6 pilots. Some of them would do certain legs, but I was the main pilot that flew all the way from Cape Town to
So
Cairo.
at this stage, you had your full PPL,
Wow,
full
that-
rating, and you were the main pilot.
That was another story. Getting my PPL, I actually got it 2 days before the trip. 2 days.
Oh, my word.
The CAA had to courier it here, and I got my PPL on 45.0 hours. My first flight as a PPL, I left Cape Town with 45.0 hours. So I was highly inexperienced. I mean, I still am.
Yeah, but you also got your license exactly as per the requirement. Normally people take a lot longer.
The 0.0 for me, not a 0.1, a 0.0. That's the best part, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's total of 6 of you then,
Yes.
and you're all pilots.
Yes. So the 2 directors was my dad and then another guy, Werner. And they were, like I mentioned, the directors. So they would mainly fly in
Directors
this.
of Sling?
Oh, sorry, directors of our non-profit organization, Jy Droom Global. So
Okay, that's what it was. You Dream Global.
Yes. And then that's where UDG comes from, which is the registration of the aircraft that we built. Uniform Delta Golf is Jy Droom Global.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And that was the one that was built by you guys.
Yeah.
So now you guys are flying along, and you've got the support aircraft with your dad in it and 2 other people, I would
Yes.
imagine. And then there's another 3 in your aircraft.
Yes.
And off you go.
Yeah.
So you said the support aircraft didn't make it to Cairo.
Yeah.
So you guys land in Cairo, just the 3 of you.
Just the 2. So that flight that we did, there were 3 pilots. The one pilot screamed, this flight that we were going to do from Addis to Egypt was just way too risky. So he tapped out. So it was me, and another guy. He was 18 years old. I was 17 years old. Here we go. Over a civil war zone, no support aircraft. We're not even sure.
Where the other aircraft stay behind then?
Yes.
That point.
Okay, so basically
they
what
stay?
happened there. So now we're in Addis. We wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Our overflight clearance for Sudan was only valid for 3 days. So the first 2 days we spent looking for fuel. So the last day was
To go.
make or break, because that clearance took us 3 weeks to get. So it was either we fly today or we're not going to make the whole project. So we get to the planes, and it was cloudy and raining and not great weather. And when we get to the plane, there's this beautiful gliss on the apron. And we're like, okay, well, what's going on here? Do the pre-flight on UDG, everything's chop. Then do the pre-flight on Tango Alpha Foxtrot. There's no fuel in the tanks. And we're like,
So
we
on the apron.
we are in Africa. Maybe someone stole the fuel.
Yeah.
No. We refueled the aircraft, and then we saw a fuel leak. It was dripping out fuel faster than it can use
Support
it.
aircraft.
The support
leaking fuel.
aircraft.
Okay, so for that reason they had to stay behind.
Yes.
Solve the problem. And you guys
and
go.
we decide, you know what, it's now
off
or
you go.
never. So off we
And
go.
how long was the flight from Addis? Where did you land in Egypt?
So we actually had a diversion as well. We were planning on flying from Addis to Aswan, which is in Egypt.
Yeah, southern
But
part of Egypt.
We couldn't make it there, so we had to do a diversion to Abu Simbel, which
Abu
is
Simbel, yeah.
on the border between Sudan and Egypt.
Yeah.
But now bear in mind, we're flying, and as you're flying, you can literally see the different tents and where they're making war, and you're at 12,000 foot, and you're
my
like,
word.
oh gosh, please don't see me. So I said to the pilot, you know, we are absolutely crazy. We are 2 teenagers in a plane built by 20 teenagers, flying over a war zone
yeah.
with no support aircraft.
Yeah.
After our planning to Aswan, we couldn't make it there. We went to Abu Simbel. We tried making contact with them, no contact, after getting multiple frequencies from radar. So we're like, okay, well, now we're going to land. By the time we get on the apron, the whole plane is surrounded with these guys all dressed up in white and whatever, with these massive guns pointed at us. And they're yelling at us, give us your passport, give us your license. So in Egypt, you need to be older than 17 to get your pilot's license. So now I rock up here as a 17-year-old girl with saying I'm a pilot, and they just don't believe it. So they hold us in interrogation till 2 o'clock the next morning, and then they say, okay, go. And we're like, we're way over our flight and duty. They're like, not safe, go. So into the darkness we go at 2 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, the other pilot was not rated. So then we managed to get to Aswan, and the next day we made it to Cairo.
Cairo.
Yeah.
So did you land at Cairo International Airport?
Yes, that was also another story. You've got all these big jets, all these Boeings,
You're coming in
Airbuses,
VFR.
and you've got this little mosquito coming in VFR.
Yeah. Jesus. And did you have a welcoming party there?
Yes.
Was there
I must say,
some of the people fly over from here to Cairo?
I must say there was a lot of support right throughout the trip. So, but on the other side, so the other pilots then flew from Addis commercially to Cairo. They met us there. And then we had a few supporters to meet us there. So the other pilot's sister, my mom, my sister, they all met us there. And there were bunch of ministers and ambassadors and who knows who.
So you've got a sister and a brother?
No,
just
brother.
a sister.
So it's me and my oldest sister.
How much older is she than you?
She's amazing. She's 27. I'm 23. She's 4 years older than what I am. She's not very interested in book writing or aviation. She's doing her own thing in Australia now. So she's a South African and living in Australia now.
Making waves.
Yes.
In a different area.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're in Cairo and you've made it. So how long do you then stay in Cairo before? So your main mission was to fly Cape to Cairo.
Yes.
But you need to get back.
Yes.
So the mission was, well, once we've done that, we got to do it all over again.
remember,
back.
I'm in matric now. So that was when our prelim exam started. So I
Yeah.
was in Cairo for a few days. Then I took a commercial flight from Cairo to South Africa, write a few exams, and then there was a gap where I had about a week's chance. In the meantime, the other crew were then flying the plane back, my dad being the one. And they also sent up engineers from South Africa to Addis to go fix the fuel leak on the support plane. So by the time I joined them in Uganda to then bring the two planes back.
Okay, so you
Yes.
joined them both. So both planes were now
In Uganda. Yes. And along the trip,
in Tebe, or where?
Yes.
Where? Okay.
so along the trip, I was more the admin lady as well, doing all the flight plans and all that boring stuff. And
While
I
you were
actually,
in Tebe, did you
Yes.
go and have a look at the source of the Nile?
No.
That's where it starts.
oh, that's cool.
The Nile River starts
did
there in
not know
Uganda.
that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
There's a big panhandle of mountains, and all the rain goes into Lake Victoria. I think it's Lake Victoria. And that pushes the water down the Nile.
Oh, wow.
You know, there was a stage when Idi Amin wanted to block the water there. And that nearly caused a war between
can imagine.
between them and Egypt. Anyway, it's a silly idea
Little-
anyway, because you can't stop. You can build a wall there, but it's eventually going to... Anyway.
So I filed the flight plan. Seeing that the Cape-to-Cairo was over, I said, you know what, now this time I can fly with my dad. So I filed the flight plan, 3 people for Tango Alpha
In
Foxtrot,
Tebe now.
from Tebe to Malawi,
Right.
Lilongwe. That was
Lilongwe,
our
right.
planned flight. So basically, I filed the flight plan, 3 people, Tango Alpha Foxtrot, the support plane, and 2 people in Uniform Delta Golf,
Yeah.
which were the 2 other pilots. They were both 18.
Yeah.
So we then start the engines, and I look over, and I don't understand why, but I made the decision to jump out of this plane and into the other one. Don't know why. I said to my dad, you know what? I'm just going to fly with the boys for this flight. We can do the next flight together. So I hop out, jump in the other plane.
But now how many
not
people
thinking
now
anything
are on the
of
way
it.
back?
So there were the 3 people in Tango Alpha Foxtrot supposed to be, and 2 people in Uniform Delta Golf. So that's 5.
I mean, for the sake of the listeners, there's too many codes. The support plane, 2 people
Eventually, yes.
at that stage, and your
UDG,
and your plane,
3.
3 people. So 5 people in total are
Yes.
heading back. Okay.
Yes.
So you jump. You and your dad were the 2 people, and then you said, "No, I'm going with the other guys."
Yes.
And your dad's then on his own, or did somebody swap out?
Remember the flight plan, I filed 3 people, Tango Alpha Foxtrot. So the 2 directors that were flying TAF the whole time, they
The
were
support plane.
in the aircraft, and
Yeah.
then I was flying with them. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump in the other plane.
Yeah, but that's what I want to know. You jumped in the other plane, then who jumped in with him, or did he just stay on his own then?
No, there were 3 minus 2. No, 3 minus 1 is 2. So there were 2 people in Tango Alpha Foxtrot, 3 people in UDG.
Yeah.
So
I
3
don't
in
want
the
to do the
teen
math
bulls.
now. I just want to know how many people there are.
5
So
people.
there were 3 in your guy's plane
Yes,
and 2
2.
left in the support plane.
Yes. And those
And one was your
were-
dad.
Yes.
Okay.
They were both directors. So now we're flying out of Uganda, and we're flying over Tanzania. And I hear them saying on the radio, listen guys, our engine temperatures are going up and the oil pressure is going down. So we're like, okay, this is not ideal situation to be in.
Not.
However, on our way up to Cairo, their screens, their systems, the instruments kept giving the wrong readings.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would completely lose your airspeed, all those vital informations, then you must fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
So there were 2 possibilities. It could be reading wrong, or there could be actually something wrong. So they said eventually it reached the critical levels, they're going to have to do emergency landing. So they selected the nearest airport, which was Tabora in Tanzania, And we said, can we land with you? And they said, no, you don't have landing clearances. And because we weren't in an emergency, we can't break the rules. They don't have landing clearance either, but the emergency, they can do what they need to do. We continue our flight to Lilongwe. They make the emergency landing, and we then come in contact with each other afterwards. And they said, after them being held under gunpoint again, after them, no, that's Africa.
I know.
You know.
I did it a lot, yeah.
So after
But not often by
that.
gunpoint, though.
Really?
No.
Well, they will give you trouble, but if they don't expect you coming and it's military operations, they're
I
not
was
very
held at
friendly.
gunpoint in Ile de Sal. Is it Ile de Sal, the island that they use for refueling
Oh,
on airliners?
okay.
But that's a whole other story. I could tell that story. Flying a Gulfstream up there, and
I think you need to do a episode, or maybe we record an episode where I then ask you questions about
absolutely. But I mean, this is the whole
the
idea of the program is, we exchange stories,
Yes.
really, because I'm not writing a book, but I'm telling my story over a bunch of programs. I'll add a little bit in here and a bit in there, but that was a whole nother story. But yeah, carry on.
So we spoke to them. They're in Tanzania, we're in Malawi. And they said, you know what, we did the engine run-ups 3 different times. All the temperatures, pressures are
Everything's
in the green.
checking out.
So they assume it was probably just the screen malfunction. But either way, they will meet us in Lekoma, which is this beautiful island on Lake Malawi. And they will bring us some extra fuel as well. So they said they're going to be there midday. We're on the island. We're having the time of our life, skiing and paddling and whatever. And eventually the sun is starting to set. And the other 2 guys say to me, listen, where's your dad? Like, they should have been here by now. As a pilot's daughter, you're used to them always coming back.
Yeah.
So I said to them, no, man, don't worry about it. They'll be here. And because the island is so small, I think it's 11 kilometers from the one point to the other side, the airport is just as small. And it's only light aircraft that can land there. So there was another plane that came in, some pilot doing charters, and I spoke to him. I said, how's it? How was your flight? Listen, you didn't maybe see another aircraft at the airport. Maybe they've landed and they're working on the plane. And he said, no, it was just your aircraft there. So I'm like, okay. We grabbed the handheld radio. At this point, I wasn't too stressed. We were still making a joke out of it. Tango for Foxtrot, this is Lekoma Ground, do you copy? For how long? No response. Then the sun set and it's dark. And I'm just sitting here on this hammock thinking to myself, listen, where are these oaks? Because we both had satellite phones. If they landed somewhere else, they would have called us on the sat phones. If they were safe, they would have been here. Still not thinking the worst. So I get a call from my mom. She's crying hysterically. And she says,
At night?
Yes, at night.
No.
Say
What
again?
time at night is this now?
I'm not sure.
And at this stage, you were starting to think,
I wasn't
where are
worried.
they? Yeah, you weren't worried.
I was wondering, where are they? But I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a capable man. He's a capable pilot.
He's got a lot of experience. And so
my mom gives me a call. She's crying hysterically. She says, Megs, Dad crashed.
Oh, my goodness.
And in my head, I was like, okay, people survive air crashes. And I said, are they okay? And she said, no, they're dead.
Oh, my goodness.
So there I was in the middle of Africa as a 17-year-old waiting for my dad to come back. And he never came back. The rest of my family is sitting in South Africa. I can't be with them. I'm alone. I've just got these 2 18-year-old pilots with me. So that was really difficult. I insisted we have to finish the project. And my mom just said, hey, no way. You guys are not flying back. So we have this saying in our family, emotions high, intelligence low. And she said, you guys are really emotional now. I don't want you flying aircraft. It's not safe. So I fly back
I can see-
commercially.
You're even quite emotional when you're telling the story.
Yeah, no, my heart's hurting, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we fly commercially back. I then continue with my prelim exams. The school said, no, you should stop this, just heal and
You're
then
on
finish
Como
school.
Island now.
After Likoma, after we got the news, we
Yeah.
flew back commercially to South Africa.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, when I got to South Africa, I continued my exams. But the school was like, no, do it next year. My dad wasn't very fussy about marks or grades or something. He just always told me, Megan, just pass, just get your matric certificate. It doesn't have to be A's, just get your matric certificate. So I was like, you know what? I've just got half of the prelims and the end year exams. It's just exams.
Yeah.
Let me just finish it. So ends up I've finished matric with 3 distinctions and the rest above 70 without studying.
That's incredible. But I just want to rewind now. What actually happened to your dad?
To this day, I have no idea. The South African Civil Aviation said to us, it's their responsibility, it's their duty to do an aircraft crash investigation. It's a South African manufactured aircraft, it's a South African registered airplane and South African pilots. Their response was, it was just 2 people. If it were a commercial aircraft, maybe they do an air inspection, but it's just 2 people that passed away.
So the Civil Aviation of South Africa did zero investigation.
Fuck all. And to this moment, it not only
So you don't know
hurts
what
me,
happened.
but
Yeah.
it makes me furious. It's just 2 people.
No,
They don't understand that one of those 2 people was my dad.
was your father.
The other pilot had a newborn baby and a 6-year-old. So now these people are being raised without a father and they never know what went wrong.
Did they find the wreckage?
They found the wreckage. So
Did they crash at the airport or did they crash in the jungle?
a few miles away from the airport. So Sling sent their test pilot up and they got a few bits of information from the locals, which couldn't really speak English. And once I got invited to Canada to ICAO's 75th birthday or whatever to be speaking at ICAO. And I then met someone from the Tanzanian CAA. And I was like, do you know about this aircraft by any chance? Do you know anything about the crash? So he said then that apparently there was a mayday call. He didn't tell me what. Then once they got to 6,000 feet, they lost radar contact. And then what the information from Sling said, the plane was controlled all the way down to the ground.
Crash landing, yeah, so to
So
speak.
what I assume happened is that they had an engine failure. They were at about 13,000 feet when they had the engine failure. And then the terrain in the area was very bad. It was forest. There was one rice field, which was open. So where else are you going to go?
They landed there.
So they went for the rice field, but the rice field has contours and it was dried up. So it was like hitting a wall. And once they were past the decision-making field, the length of the field, they obviously wanted to land it in the longest distance. They then figured out that the contours were this, and they couldn't turn. So when they hit the ground, apparently the left main hit the ground.
Yeah.
And also the procedure for when you have an engine failure is to feather the prop. They did feather the prop, which strengthens the propeller. So the main wheel left
prop.
hit it, the prop hit it, opens over. Now, if you look at the Sling, their doors open upwards. Now, with the plane being upside down, full of fuel, they couldn't get
Trapped.
out. So the locals said that they were chucking sand on the plane, trying to pull the people out. Some of them got badly burnt. Trying to get these people, well, my dad and Werner,
Literally
get them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not nice. The death report said suffocation.
Phew.
So
So they
that's
didn't die on
that's
impact,
some,
so
that's
they
some,
could have got out if it...
that's some really touching stuff, is if you imagine your dad, because you can't help not think, but
No.
being stuck in a plane, burning to death. The police had to come to our house and do DNA samples because they couldn't identify his body.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, that must have been... I mean, even when you're telling the story now, I can see very emotional about it.
And it's frustrating to me that the South African government isn't doing their job by investigating this thing. I've been left for 5 years, 6 years now, with all these questions in my head, and I must bits and pieces of information because they too slack. I don't know what's the English word, to do their job. And it's not going to change the outcome. It's not going to change the fact that they have passed away and that they're not with us anymore. But it will give me some kind of closure by knowing what happened instead of wondering.
So, I mean,
about
all the
this
information you
year.
have comes from Sling and the people around.
Yes, nothing from the CIA.
So the body was brought out and flown back to South Africa.
Yes.
And to identify the bodies, they had to do a DNA test. Some form of DNA to positively identify them. And the wreck of the aeroplane?
There was hardly anything left. There was basically nothing left because Avgas burns quite well.
And was there insurance on the plane?
I'm not too sure about
That'd be an
those
interesting question because I know of a similar event where somebody crashed. A very good friend of mine actually crashed in a kit-built aeroplane which was insured, and we think he had a heart attack. The civil aviation looked at the video and said, looks like he was doing aerobatics. Because the plane came over the airport and suddenly went straight up, turned and went into full power into the ground. And that guy was a very, very experienced pilot. I was
going to say, no experienced pilot is going to...
fly it in full power into the ground. And so I think he had a heart attack and just pulled the controls to, because that's basically what a heart attack is. And he had an engineer with him as well. Boom, into the ground. And the investigation just said, pilot error. And for that reason, there was an insurance problem to pay it out. Apparently, they didn't pay it out because they said it's pilot error.
Wow.
Something to that effect. And it's like, well, how do you do an autopsy? Same story. They were burnt to a frazzle. And, you can't prove that it was a heart attack or prove that it wasn't a heart attack.
Yes.
Anyway, sure, that's an epic.
And a lot of people ask me, why do I still fly even after losing my dad in aviation? And I would say I was raised in aviation. My mom's an aircraft engineer instructor. She's got her
own aircraft engineering instructor?
So
your mom?
She started her own business. She was the first South African female to have a training school that trains AMEs. So she does the aircraft maintenance engineers advanced courses. So if they want to work on a King Air or PT6 or whatever, they do their type rating like us pilots do with her school. So my mom's on the engineering side, and my dad, being a pilot for 35 years, he also had a wonderful career. He actually did the flyby in 2013 between South Africa and the Springboks there over the stadium. So
really?
That was really cool.
I think, was it Scully Levine that flew that plane as well?
No, so Scully, there was actually a lot of drama around that because Scully wanted to do that flight because he said, no, like, he's such an experienced pilot and whatever. But my dad said that, he's very experienced on the MD-80, and they approached the African Chartering Company or whatever their name was to do this flyby. And so he said, no, I'm going to do the flight. So he was the captain on the plane that did
And
the
was it an
flyby.
MD-80?
MD-82, yes.
And what year was that?
2013.
2013, when the Springboks
Played test match against New Zealand.
Wow. And that was in Johannesburg.
Yes, at Ellis Park.
Ellis
And I
Park.
cannot tell you the amount of pride. I was standing there with a sign that I made, and I was like, with
That's
the
my
arrow
dad.
pointing up. Look at my dad do the flyby. And I had all these women telling me, "Ach, kak man, there's no vliegtuig coming."
Yeah.
No, I said,
That's my paradise.
Kyk op.
Yeah.
and it was absolutely amazing. So there's a video on YouTube I'll show you.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Anyway.
Damn. Okay.
So, but I'm pretty sure Scully did do one afterwards
I
in a
think-
737, I
think they
believe.
were the first one, wasn't it? A big 747 or what that they flew over a stadium once.
That was the 94 one. Or is that
Yeah,
one
I'm
you're
thinking
talking
of that
about?
one,
Yes,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was the first one that they did with the South Africans, New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't see the 2013 one.
It's really cool. I'll show
Yeah.
you. It's not as impressive as a 747.
Coming
but-
over, yeah. Oh, but
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So, okay, so you got a whole aviation family. And, you know, it's like losing somebody in a car accident. I mean,
Exactly.
of course you're going to go and drive a car again. People get hit running, you know, walking across the road. Doesn't mean to say you're not going to walk across the road again. I mean, racing drivers crash their cars. The quicker they can get back into the race car again, the better.
And that's why
I can
straight
understand
after
you.
the day after I found out my dad crashed, I said, but I need to finish this project. He was the drive force behind this thing.
Yeah.
I have to finish it in his name. I mean, the next day we had planned a massive press conference. The president was going to welcome us back. It was this big thing. So I said, no, let's finish it. But I
Yeah.
have to listen to Mama Bear.
Just
And
remind us of your dad's name again.
Des Werner.
Des Werner.
Yeah. So
And the English version, Des Werner.
Werner, Des
okay.
Werner,
Yeah,
yes.
Afrikaans, Der Werner. Des Werner, okay. Yeah, you don't want to know what they call my name when I go to America. Van der Spuy, Van der Spy. Van, yeah. No, Van der Spy.
Van
Yeah,
der Spy.
yeah. Anyway, sort of more Dutch than that.
Yeah, so then again, when I was busy with my prelim exams, there was a gap. So then flew back commercially from South Africa, went to get the plane in Malawi, which was the teen one that we left there
Yeah.
when we found out they crashed, to come back and then finish the plane. And I think the highlight was not only finishing the project, but when we got back, landed at Lansera, we got the spray.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's really quite something for them to organize that. You know, just you guys got the recognition that you really need it, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you did that job. Then you wrote the book before that. You went motivational speaking all around the world, including Russia. I mean, Russia of all places. I do think
And
that
this was my favorite. It was amazing.
I do think that Russia is one of the best kept secrets in the world. I mean, I spent 4 years
And
there.
the people there are also just as great, because you've got this idea of these Russian scary
Yeah.
people, and at first they come across as really scary. And if they're speaking to each other in Russian, you think there's a massive fight going on. Meanwhile, they're just having a normal conversation.
Yeah, they're
So-
like fighting dogs all the time. You know, it's the Egyptians as well, I must say. You know, they always look like it's a dog fight going on, but it's not really the case. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, Russia, I can tell you a quick story about Russia. I flew Mr. Putin to a place
Oh.
called Syktyvkar, which is basically in the Arctic Circle, for a funeral. It was him and a friend of his, and I flew up there, and he wasn't president at the stage. No, he wasn't yet, or he was probably very close. This was probably in 2000, somewhere around the change of the millennium, 2000. And so I had a Russian co-pilot, Now, there's more accidents in Russia, aircraft accidents, than the entire world put together.
What? Why?
But they don't get advertised. Well, they like their vodka. They if you look at the airplanes, I don't say they all drink, but
Most of them.
you have a few pilots in the cockpit. You have this glass bowl at the bottom, and the guy who's doing the IF work sitting there. The driver is just driving. I mean, I flew with one of those guys once somewhere. He's got a vest on,
Blockies.
half shaved, yeah.
Flying barefoot.
And then there's an engineer, and there's a co-pilot, and there's a guy giving the guy instructions where to turn. And they have terrible snowstorms, and so their precision flying is, it gets them into a lot of trouble. They have a lot of accidents, and for obvious reasons, they don't advertise it. That doesn't go, that it's not good for publicity,
Yes.
for Aeroflot. But anyway, I'm flying now into this place, and the guy descends us to an altitude. And I look at my flight charts because I never used to trust anything when I'm there. I always double-checked everything. Also there could be a language barrier, and they also fly in meters. They don't fly in feet.
Oh, wow.
So it's descend to so many meters,
Meters, yeah.
and they fly QFE, which is height above ground. So that's really, that can get your brain going. You normally fly in QNH, I beg your pardon, QNH, they fly in QFE. So QNH is height above sea level. Now the guy gives you, suddenly he says 600 meters. He cleared under 600 meters, and you're about 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet, altitude.
Yeah.
And you've got to get your whole mind. Now you got to convert quickly to meters. You got to convert to the ground. Okay, you're 600 meters above the ground, and your decision. Say if it's 200 feet, on an ILS, convert that to meters. So your decision point is, like 30 meters or 100 meters, like, and you think, oh shit, it's a big. So fortunately, in the Gulfstream jets and that we can just dial it up on the computer, convert it to QFE, and then fly it like that. But there is a bit of a bright mind.
Absolutely.
Anyway, he descends us to a minimum sector altitude, and I look on my map, and it's very low. It doesn't make sense to me. So Gregory, my Russian co-pilot, they got radar here. Well, of course. Absolutely, of course. I've been here many times. But this descent altitude looks a bit low for me. No. I mean, radar control, you're all
What
good.
was the weather in that?
Pitch dark, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, snowstorm. It's up there in the Arctic Circle and cold. It is minus 20 degrees centigrade on the ground. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to just do my own approach here. I'm going to stay at my altitude. And if he's got radar, he's going to bark at me.
Yes.
He didn't bark at me. And I kept saying, are you sure they got radar? But why are they not correcting me? And I did a long approach. It was really, I mean, with a whiteout with snow, I was surprised that we actually eventually found the radar, the runway at 200 feet. I could just see the first lights at 200 feet, pitch dark. Anyway, we land, and we let the passengers go. And I said to him, I want to go up to the tower. I want to check the radar system out. Anyway, kicking a few cans down the passage, some garbage, overfilled bins into the control tower, and there's two guys sitting there with a basic microphone and a little radio there on the desk. I said, how's it, guys? Any idea? Have you got a radar here? No radar here. We wish we had. I said, have you ever had a radar here? No. Been here for 20 years, never a radar. Gregory? I nicknamed him Captain, of course, after that. So we had a radar here. Yep. Oh, well, he didn't have words to say. So and there's no hotels there. There's not even roads going to that place. We stayed in somebody's house. Now we're walking down the street because when we were going, they drove us to this house where we stayed with the old lady staying in the house and creaky bedroom and I mean those they're so cut off from civilization. They don't get paid for 20 years. Only 3 years. They've got missing teeth and it's but a beautiful little village. But everybody was out walking. It looked like everybody in town was actually walking. And so I said, Gregory, it's minus 20. So I said, let's go and walk too. I want to check around. I always used to walk no matter what the temperature was. And so we go walking. And I said, Gregory, please do me a favor. Just ask somebody here, why is everybody out walking tonight? It's so cold. And anyway, he talks to them and he turns back to me and he starts laughing. And I said, yeah, tell me. He says, no, it's an exceptionally warm evening. It's normally minus 40. So they're all out.
Is this up in Irkutsk or something? Where is
it?
it?
It's near the North Pole, man, in the Arctic Circle.
And those people somehow look a bit like Eskimos.
Listen, they're genetically for sure different because I went skiing once we took our plane into Geneva for maintenance with Gregory and said, Gregory, we're going to be here for 10 days. Bring your wife, to join us because that's what I typically do. If they're going somewhere for a long time, they bring their people in and so then what happened is, so now we're up there in the ski slopes. His wife comes out. It's minus 10 on the ground. We go up into the ski slopes, and it's like with a wind factor and that, it's got to be a good minus 15 degrees centigrade. And his wife is skiing with no gloves on. I've got spare gloves on. I've got Gore-Tex gloves on. My fingers are freezing.
Yeah.
With the ski gloves, and I had a spare set in my. Gregory, I've got a spare set for your wife for the gloves, and he says, darling, do you, in Russian? No, I'm okay. Нет. I'm okay. Спасибо, пожалуйста. Excuse me, my fingers are nearly frozen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now I could understand why. I spent a lot of time in Russia, and. It'll be minus, actually the 3 years that I was in Russia initially, it was the 3 coldest winters on record in Moscow. Wow. Average temperature during the day, minus 38 degrees centigrade.
And they get permafrost where the mountains and the ground freezes.
Yeah.
Permanently.
Yeah. Well, if you just have the tip of your nose sticking out, it gets frostbite. I mean, us Westerners, they're sitting on the pavement selling peanuts and shit. No gloves. Their sealskin jackets. I mean, fur skin jackets are really big there. They're definitely genetically different. Look, their summers are very hot too. I mean. Summer there, it's 35 degrees, but winter, damn. No. Anyway, so getting back to you now. So that was an incredible experience, very sad actually. I mean, I get emotional as well when you told me the story. And you're an aviation family. Your mom's still in the business.
Yes.
Still got the AME training academy up in Warrneboom, did you say?
So she's based in Lanseria.
And she's teaching
there. It's called DTM, Debella Training Management. So she's...
Debella?
Debella, yes.
Uh-huh.
It's for Des and Belinda.
Okay.
Only afterwards they found out in African language it means fat.
Ja, maar Debella.
So, nou, ik vergeet wat ik wil zeggen.
We were talking about, so she's got this aviation school.
in Lanseria.
in Lanseria.
And that's the same property where I got raised. So, Plaas Meisie van Lanseria af.
Yeah, so you lived on a farm in that area.
Yes. So, and then I went to Afrikaans school, Hoërskool Noordheuwel in Krugersdorp. Israel.
nee, boere meisie, ons kan dinge doen.
Ek vat nie kak van kaboutertjies nie.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So, yeah, after the Cape-to-Cairo project, Pan Macmillan then published a storybook about the whole project. And that was great, but then my life just went downhill from there.
Okay, but hold on a second. This book that they did, so it was a book on the trip.
Yes.
Now, is that also
So
published
it was,
book?
yes. And it was published by Pan Macmillan, so that one is available at
the
your
bookstores.
exclusive books or
What is that called?
wherever. It's called Jy Droom is the Afrikaans version, and When You Dream is the English version.
Oh, really?
So it was
available-
co-written
Co-written?
by Pan Macmillan's author, so Daniela van Heerden, and then I told the story. So it's more of based on a true story. It's not exactly as things happened.
These stories are getting like, there's just so much to talk about. I mean, so we've discussed your trip, and but you said something very profound. You said from there onwards, your life went down.
Yes, downhill.
I want to know what happened.
Yeah. So there's a few big events that completely changed me as a person and that really sent me to a very dark place. So not only losing my dad, who was my everything, we used to do everything together, hiking, fishing, flying, all of that.
Yeah.
But in 2022, I had an incident where I was sexually assaulted, and that was horrible for me to go through. So after that happened, I felt like I just didn't want to live anymore. That's really how I felt. So I experienced that, and not long after that, my mom moved to Mauritius for a while. Long story short, she did come back to South Africa, and my sister went to Australia, and they both immigrated on the exact same day.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I had nothing left. I don't have my family. I went through
Where were you
this
staying then?
on the farm.
At your
So,
parents' place?
yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah, my mom didn't sell the property. She kept the farm. So a little while after that, I then decided to move in with my best friend. My mom came back to South Africa, and we were living in our own place together. And I invited the two pilots that did the Cape-to-Cairo with us and a few other friends, and we were all jolling and having a vibe. And 4 attackers ran in there, started shooting everywhere, guns blazing.
This is a private home now,
On a farm, yes.
on a farm.
Which is in a nature reserve in the cradle of humankind. So there's a nature reserve, that fencing, then our fencing, and then there's like a small plot as part of the farm where all the houses and everything is. So we were just there having
You're
a
just
jaw.
having a little private party at this home.
Housewarming, and these guys just run in there, guns blazing, start shooting everywhere. To this day, I don't know why they came in. I don't know if it was to steal stuff or what kind of attack this was, but the Lapa has got glass sliding doors along here, and then there's a kitchen as well. So when I heard them, luckily they ran into the glass sliding door. So I heard this bang, I look up and I'm like, oh shit. So I start running other way towards the kitchen. These guys get in and they just start shooting everywhere.
But now there's 4 of you.
So we were 7 people
Yeah.
and 4 intruders.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Plus 4 intruders. So boys and girls.
yes. Well, the intruders were all
No, you
male.
guys.
Yes, we were boys and girls
7
mixed.
Couple of
So
guys,
when they
couple of
ran
girls.
in there, I was like, oh shit, I would start running. Everyone started scattering. So the Lapa and their kitchen, and there's another door out the kitchen. So I didn't want to run out the kitchen door. Maybe there was more people on that side. So I hid behind the kitchen door, and my friends all scatter. They ran out the kitchen door. I see, okay, coast is clear. Now I'm going to go out there. Then the last person to come after this string of friends running out the door was the leader of the gang. And he then put the gun against my chest. And I had nothing to defend myself with. I was quite helpless. But in the kitchen, right behind me was a broom. So I grabbed the broom.
While he's got
while he's got the gun
Yeah.
on my chest. So I grabbed the broom and I hit him. And I hit him so hard that his teeth fell out, but he also fell over. And as he fell over, he pulled the trigger and the bullet went through my leg. So my left leg, upper left leg. So
And he only fired one shot.
so as he was falling.
Yes.
So he fell down, I got shot, and yeah.
Then what happened? I mean, now
He
he's
wanted
lying on the
to
ground with a gun. Did he not want to carry on
try
shooting?
again, yes, but he got stopped. I can't talk about that part.
Why not?
I've been asked by my friends who helped me out of that situation not to speak about the rest. So I will respect that on their behalf. But long story short, the other guys got away. They ran into the bushes. I'm now here being shot, or like after being shot in my left leg with blood literally squirting out my leg. And I realized, oh, damn, I've been shot. So I press with my hand on my leg where the blood is squirting out to try and stop the bleeding. And wow, that's the first time when I actually felt the pain. Up until that point, I never felt like being shot. It felt like a lummy.
Yeah.
And then when I pushed it in, oh my word, it was worse pain. It feels like someone takes a sword, leaves it in the fire till it's like red hot, then sticks it through your leg, and then leaves it there.
Yeah, because when you block an artery off, the expansion and the pressure in the blood obviously causes a lot of pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Did you put a
they.
tourniquet on then?
So I did ask my one friend for a belt to wrap it, but she put it on my hip, and I was like, this isn't going to help. I actually laughed at her in that situation, and she didn't find it funny.
Jesus.
Anyway.
I
so
mean, you could die right there.
yes, and that's the exact moment I had while I was pushing it there, and everyone running away. I was alone in that place where I was at. So I'm like trying to save my life. And I had my Apple Watch on. So I called my mom from my watch, and I call her. I'm like, Mom, I've been shot. So they come down trying to help me. They pull down my pants and trying to look for an exit wound, and we can't find an exit wound. So then they said, no, you need to stay right here. We're going to wait for the ambulance. And I'm like, are you guys cooked? Like, we're on a farm in the middle of nowhere. How long do you think it's going to take for the accident? No. Eventually, I like lost my cool.
Marbles, yeah.
And I was like, get me in the car, get me to the hospital now. On the way to the hospital, I was like dipping in and out of consciousness. I was trying my absolute best to stay awake. And I actually called the hospital very calmly. I was like, hello, my name is Megan. I'm a 21-year-old female. I've just been shot in the upper left femur. We're going to be at the hospital in 15 minutes. Please be ready. Get there. Nothing is happening. Only a long while afterwards, the one doctor comes to me. She was like, oh, it's you, the one who was on the phone. No, we thought it's a prank call. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the kind of stuff you joke about in South Africa.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I thought when you said there was nobody there. They thought it was obviously a prank call.
Yeah. No, we thought it's a prank call. But the hospital I went to was for his life, and there's no life there. That was an absolutely horrible experience I had there. They had to put me on in the MRI to see what the damage is and stuff. But the bullets ruptured my main artery, shot the nerves, all the muscles off. So with the muscles being off, my foot was hanging sideways, and they just like kept trying to push me in this MRI thing, but my foot was stuck. And I'm like, my foot, and they just keep pushing. So whoever did the report said, no, it's just the side vein. So a little while later, my leg is ice cold, and my mom, after my dad passed away a few years later, she got another boyfriend, and he's a radiologist. And he was there, so he asked the nurse for a Doppler, which is where they look for a pulse. They're looking for a pulse in my foot. They can't find anything. Then he says, no, he wants to see the scans. And then when he saw the scans, he like absolutely lost it. He was like, it's not a side vein, it's the main artery. So then they realized that, that all this bleeding is, my leg was 3 times the size that it was supposed to be. They called the vascular surgeon saying, I need operation right now. And the guy who was on call didn't answer his phone. And the guy who was not on call answered his phone and just said, sorry, I'm not on service. And they left me. So I got transferred to Sunnyside, where I then got the operation that I needed. And it was very touch and go. It took much longer than what it was supposed to. My mom's outside stressing herself to death. And
the operation took much longer than...
Yes. So they had to, because of the shock waves a bullet makes, it ruptured the inside of the artery, so it pretty much burst.
So it's very difficult to stitch it back.
Yes. So there are 3 layers in the artery, apparently. This is how it was explained to me, and that inner one just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So they had to stitch that all up, and apparently they took out a string of 30 centimeters worth of blood clots in my leg. So luckily my body did what it was supposed to do to save me. And I managed to survive. I managed to keep my leg, which was in itself a miracle, because they apparently had the amputation kit ready. They were about to amputate my leg. Because I was still making a joke months afterwards with the vascular surgeon, the doctor, and I was like, yeah, I've got a leg, I can walk. And his face just dropped, and he was like, you don't understand how nearly we amputated your leg. And then there's the flying. Now I can't fly anymore. So...
What do you mean you can't fly anymore?
If you've got one leg.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You'd have to get some other
Jesus.
thing on your But anyway, that really messed my head up.
But one question, did they
shot.
catch the people?
No.
Never caught them.
No.
Was there an investigation? Probably not. Yeah, took a report. I mean, I guess you guys reported it to the police, right?
Yes. The police was... So actually the police was there. They took the bullets away and stuff. My mom found the bullet that I got shot with. It ended up under a cupboard somewhere where the police didn't know about it. So she sent that bullet for forensics. And then turns out the gun and the bullets were police issued.
That's interesting.
Which, I mean, is not a bad thing in my case, because the police don't use hollow points. If that was a hollow point, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a bright side to every story. But interesting that it's
either
police ammunition.
Police stolen guns, or maybe a couple of them that are just
I literally, on my way here, had a conversation with an Uber driver who happened to be a police. And he said, no, the police rent out their guns.
To the gangsters.
Yeah, or they sell them, which I know is pretty common.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's an interesting story.
To get
for
back,
our
so
country.
that's the unraveling.
So you're busy going downhill here now. First of all, you had the sexual abuse.
Losing my dad,
lost
sexual
your dad.
abuse,
Now you
losing
get
my
shot.
family, getting shot. It's a lot of heavy stuff to deal with, and I found myself in a very, very dark place. I mean, I was so depressed that I would go like a week without showering, without brushing my teeth. I just could not care at all. And eventually, you have to realize, and this is what I realized only a long while afterwards, is that you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you're going to react in it. And I was like, Megan, you can either go sit and cry in a corner, which you have been doing now for the past year or whatever, or you can, get yourself back up and use this to, once again, help and inspire people.
Yeah.
So it was a very difficult journey, and that it's a journey that I had to do alone. There were people there that were trying to support me, but unless you don't want to change, nothing is going to happen. So I had to then pick myself up from that dark place and just start dealing with all this trauma, dealing with all the, emotions. From getting shot, the main emotion I experienced there was anger. And that's not a nice place to be in. There's an analogy saying it's not the snake bite that kills you. It's the poison circulating in your body. It's the venom circulating in your body that kills you.
So it's stuff going all through your mind now. And sure.
So it was not necessarily the getting shot that killed me, but it was the after effect of being so angry. And then you take it out on the people closest to you. And those people didn't hurt you.
Yeah.
But now all this anger and stuff, you releasing in the wrong ways. So I had to find healthy ways to deal with this stuff happening. And I went for lots of therapy.
It's good.
And then I had to do the basics. The basics is look after yourself, eat properly, do exercise. And with those things alone, at a point, the psychiatrist put me on antidepressants, and I was kicking against these antidepressants because I was like, it's just treating the symptoms and not the cause.
Not the cause, yeah.
So eventually, I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave this stuff as well.
Good.
And
Good
I'm just going to start. And I started doing a lot of research on different things, and I realized that it starts in your gut. So by eating properly and looking after your body, that's how you then change your corp. And I'm so happy to say that I've now lifted myself out of that dark place. I learned so much, and I'm now ready to help other people once again. If someone comes to me and says, they lost a parent at a young age, I can say, okay, this is how I dealt with it. If someone comes to me and says they've been sexually assaulted, they can say, this is what I did. Someone comes to me saying, I've been shot. I can say, this is how I dealt with it. And just know, one, you're not alone. There are lots of people that have gone through shitty things. Everyone
talk to them,
goes through shitty situations. That's part of life. And so you learn and you grow. But that's most important, is find healthy coping mechanisms that work for you. And what worked for me might not work for someone else, but the most important is to heal that wound properly.
So I think you've come to that point in your life where it seems that you've actually closed that wound up very nicely and successfully, although it was a very tough time. You tried literally everything that you could possibly try, from counseling to having a drink to taking something to numb the pain, etc., and then and you've found the happy medium, and that was properly talking to good people, good counselors.
For flying really helped me.
Yeah,
flying is for me the most peaceful, tranquil thing, because you do not think about your problems when you're up there. Your mission is to fly the plane, make sure everything is good, and you're just so present in the moment that you're not worried about all the world stuff. It's
flying also keeps your brain very active. Your hand-eye coordination, all the matrix of things, trying to, build a tunnel with looking at all the instruments, building your approach in your mind. And, the same applies in a race car and racing, which I'm going to now be putting you to the test.
Let's do it.
And you'll find, because when I started out my racing career very late, only 13 years ago, somebody said you need to be on a racetrack. And I said, it's like you need to be a pilot.
Yes.
Where do you start?
Yes.
Anyway, he taught me, and he in his own race cars, etc., etc. But he kept asking me, "Are you sure you haven't raced yet?" And I kept saying, "Yeah, I haven't." And then he obviously one day said to me, what is your career? What's your? I said, I'm a pilot. He said, that's it. You've been flying high-speed jets and simulated training, and obviously you've been trained. Hand-eye coordination is part of the deal, and I think for that reason I took to it better, or quicker rather is the better word. Doesn't make me a great race driver. I'm reasonably okay.
Yeah,
won a championship or two. So, but I'm by far not the fastest driver around. There's so many guys that are so good today, but again, it's it's expensive and it requires a lot of training, dedication, and time. But the bottom line is that I find that if one has had that sort of career, it's easier to drive a car because not everybody can fly an aeroplane. There's just some people that just do not have.
I know of a girl that had 100 hours without going solo.
Oh,
Then you mustn't just give up.
Yeah, they just don't have it. And same applies to racing.
Yeah.
Some people just cannot drive, as you know. You get in with them and you just, oh my God, never mind on a racetrack. There's a lot of people that say they can drive. They get a big muscle car, a big fast monster car that can go from robot to robot, and now they think they can drive.
Yeah.
Then you put them on a track and it's a whole different story. Some of them do well, most of them don't. And so I'm going to let you do, everybody that's on this program has to do a little hot lap. We've got a guy that's put up a hot lap. And recently I had Michael Stephen, who's one of our greatest racing engineers, stroke racing driver in our country. And because we had a gentleman by the, and we just call him the Twig. We don't know who he is. And we found him strolling in a shopping center, and he said he could drive. And I said, well, come and put a lap up here. And he put a hell of a lap on here. None of us have been able to get near his time. And so he's obviously some genius driver, and yet to be revealed who he is. But so we've had assault helicopter pilots on here and he did actually quite well, which is testament to all the hand-eye coordination. We've had a bunch of race drivers on here. We've had a game ranger on here. And so sort of people from all walks of life. Now we've got you here, which is, you've got a flying background. You've got a potential leg that might work better than the other one. And
that's already giving me, like, it's purple and it's not ideal. But
it's
anyway.
letting you know that it's still there, yeah. So
letting me know that the artery ain't artering.
Yeah, anyway, Michael Stephen came in. I actually just recently interviewed him, and he just proved again why he's one of the best drivers in the country, and he's just got such an engineering mind. He's got a master's degree in mechanical engineering as well, and he actually cracked Twig's time. So he's the new leader with the hottest lap that's ever driven on this
How
track.
long has he been racing?
Since he was 8 years old. I think he's 43 now, 44. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got 18 South African national championship titles to his name as well.
Damn.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, it's like winning 5 World Cup rugby tournaments.
I'm sure he knows where the accelerator and the brake is. Front
He
and the back
knows
of the
how
car.
to use them. He use them together.
The brake.
Brake
supposed
and
to use
throttle
it.
together. Use them together. Okay, so we're going to go and do a hot lap, and then we'll come back and we'll just reveal how you did against everybody else. And so we're just going to take a quick break and do this hot
I'll
lap.
probably be first from the back.
Shut up and sit down.
Right, we're back, and now I'm going to go through your lap. And I want to know from you, Megan, how did you feel on that simulator? How did you think you did?
I'm not very confident because I'm quite certain that I've got the very latest time, seeing that I've been racing against, or not racing against, but the other times that are being compared to are actual races. It's my very first time.
Not all of them. There's some game drivers there, some helicopter pilots.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So, point is, I've never done this in the simulator. It's something to get used to, and I'm not a very good driver. But anyway, Yeah.
How can you say I'm not a good driver? You should never demoralize yourself or demotivate yourself. You should, in
Okay.
fact, to the contrary, say, I think I'm actually quite a good driver. And
I'm a good learner.
that is true.
Yes.
You are, because I only had to brief you once or twice. You got it each time. You listened. You applied what I was telling you, which is really great. And so, yeah, how did you feel? Some of the corners, what was your challenges there?
I
do you think?
definitely did battle with the corners. I came in way too fast into the corners, and then I go humpity bump over all over the place and make the whole place full of rocks. But other than the corners, I don't know. Yeah, no, I think
So-
the corners were the issue.
Do you think...
Not the corners, I was the issue.
Yeah.
But I need to
So
learn how to do the corners.
when you watched racing, did you think, oh, this looks quite easy? I mean, you just all ass around, and then when you actually got in the car, what was your feeling?
So I saw a thing of how F1 drivers train and the amount of muscles they need to build and stuff. So I didn't think it was easy, and the amount of force, and just feeling this simulator here, how heavy it is,
Yeah.
makes me think I don't even want to know what those F1 guys go through.
That's
So
hectic.
I think it, like you said earlier, it looks easier than what it is. And definitely it does.
So let's see. You think you did quite bad. You
I think I came very last.
All right, let me give you an idea of where you're standing here. I'm going to give you... So we had a guy here by the name of Alex Stoos.
Okay.
He builds chopper bikes.
Oh, cool.
He's raced quad bikes. He's raced bikes. So he had a lot of racing experience. He did a 153.4.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get to your time now. Then we had... he was the slowest so far,
Okay.
believe it or not. Then we had Rob Barber, who's a game ranger
Yes.
driver. He drives Land Rovers through the bush.
Yeah.
Never driven a race car before. Really good hand-eye coordination. He did a 151.9,
Oh, cool.
which was quicker than the guys who raced bikes, etc. And then we had Claudia, who's a race driving instructor.
Okay.
Works a lot with data, extremely good driver. He did a 146.8.
Wow.
Then we had Nick Adcock, who's a renowned, very experienced race driver who did a 146.2. So, yeah, this is from the worst, we're going to the fastest. And then we had Louis Marais, who's a French driver, international rock star driver, did a 145.5. So then we had Jonathan Thomas here, who's also a world-renowned driver, one of South Africa's best. In fact, Nick Adcock, Louis Marais, and Jonathan Thomas, all extremely exceptional drivers. He also did a 145.5. So the Twig did a 144.5.
Okay.
The second faster than all these guys. And then we had Michael Stephen, who came in here, who did a 144.1. He busted Twig's time. So he's our new standard.
Okay, perfect.
You did a 150.1, which makes you faster than Alex Stoos, than Rob Barber, than Mikey Kay, who was an assault helicopter pilot for 20 years, fought all the Iraqi wars and so on. Put you right between Mikey Kay, the helicopter pilot, and Claudio, who's a very, very good race driver. Coach.
Cool.
You're right between the two. So you right up there is going to
How do you
take...
think these women are going to feel if they hear the news that some other blonde chick beat their...
well, yeah, they're going to feel good. I mean, Alex and Rob and Mikey, they won't mind. But Mikey, yeah, these guys are very competitive as well.
And
So,
you know, I'm also very competitive, so I want to come back. I want to learn how to do this properly, and then I want to set another time.
yes, you come back anytime. You're welcome back here anytime. You can spend hours here. It's actually a great thing. When I put people in my simulator, I can go back upstairs. I can go and do work. I can watch TV, and then I'll forget that they're even here, and then they'll come crawling out of the hole there several hours later. I say, damn, I can't get off that thing. It's so lekker, yeah.
No, it is great fun.
Anyway, Megan, it's been amazing to have you on the show,
Thank you so much.
I really look forward to getting this edit out, because there's some serious war stories, and I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more that we can talk about. And but we'll build it up. We'll have you on again, and the motivational speaking thing, I'd like to get more into that. And I'm really proud of you that you can actually go out there and still, having gone through your life, what you've gone through, and then to be able to recover from that and to actually convert that into positive energy.
Yes.
And put it out there and share it with people is just wonderful.
At the end of the day, life is a balance. There's highs and there's lows. There's light and there's darkness. And I have experienced that darkness, and I've experienced the light. That's not a nice place to be at. The dark place. It's not a nice place to be at. And at the end of the day, you get to choose what you focus on. So focus on what is good. Focus on what you can be grateful for. There's always so much to be grateful for.
Gratitude is a wonderful thing.
Just focus on the light.
Positive attitude and gratitude are the two big things in life. If you've got a lot of that in your system, you'll always get
gratitude
your place.
Equals great attitude.
Exactly. Okay, well, thanks very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's been nice chatting to you.
It's been a great privilege, and thank you so much. It's awesome meeting you as well.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well, and I hope to be seeing more of you in the future.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. And please, if you like this program, like, subscribe, and put it out there. Share it with your friends, and let's get this program going.
Yes.
So we can get some more of this amazing content on it.
Perfect.